What needs to happen is congruence. What needs to happen is alignment. So that's part of what identity evolution is, because your identity is the cornerstone of your reality and you're the common denominator, and your identity is driving your experience. Welcome to the School of Becoming podcast. I'm your host, Tracy Litt. Hello, beauty. It has been a while since we've hung out and had an incredible solo episode. And today is going to be exciting. It's going to be vulnerable. It's going to be so real, because I personally have been experiencing so much growth. And you know, here as the founder of the School of Becoming and what the School of Becoming is here for, it is for your evolution. And you have heard me say over and over again that you will not grow your impact, your revenue, your business, your connections, your success faster than you grow yourself. You've heard me say that the next level of your success requires the next level of you. Well, today I am taking you into what is currently happening for me in an effort to share transparently through example what those things actually mean. Right? Because they're not just platitudes. It's not enough to go, oh, yeah, I have to grow myself, or the impact's not going to grow, or I know the next level of my success requires the next level of me. This is the work. This is the process. This is the requirement. I'm going to say it now, and then I'm going to say it again towards the end of this conversation. This is the point. Your businesses, your entrepreneurship, your leadership, your motherhood are the vehicles of your evolution. It's the vehicle that places in front of you the moments, the presentations, the initiations, the readiness, the tests, the moments, the circumstances that you get to use as the workshop of your life to heal, to answer the objective of your soul, because you are a soul in human form. You are a spirit in a meat suit. So let's dive in. The School of Becoming is starting to scale. That's what all of this is being born out of. The vision that is on my heart and soul holds, it is so massive. At moments, my loving ego wants me to perceive that it's impossible. But I know it's possible because I've done the seemingly impossible before. This season of scale is illuminating so many things that I need to see, feel, and become aware of. Because to actualize the vastness of this vision, which is all for you, which is all for the world, I have to become different. It's time for me to evolve intentionally yet again. And I also want to say, yay me, because I have evolved probably like in truest since I started to awaken and reprogram and do this work and embody my next level. I would say I'm about 8 different evolutions than I was prior. And for me to become the founder and CEO of a $10 million personal growth and online education company for women leaders and entrepreneurs, the illuminations that I have had recently is the straight path there. So let me break it down this way. I'm intentionally in this conversation moving slowly, because one of these awarenesses, the second one I'm going to walk you through, just happened yesterday. And I am still very much sitting with it and in process of it and in awe of it. So illumination, awareness, number 1. My level of consciousness, my heart-led, grace-led way of being turned into over-tolerating from various members of my team, okay? So what was happening is, because, I'm highly conscious, which means I'm fully aware that none of this is real. Like none of this moment, this podcast, life, what even is all of this, and that none of us got out alive. That sentiment that is also the gift and the driver of what has empowered me and allowed me to continually lean in and become who I've become and accomplish what I've accomplished, and expand for so many women what's possible. is the same thing that was creating interference. So what was happening, like how did this come to my awareness? What was actually going on was there were team members that were under-delivering, that were making repetitive mistakes and not hitting the level of excellence that we require for you, for our team at large, for the energy of our organization, and for the impact we're here to make. And my graceful, loving, none of this is real, wanting to give everybody an opportunity to grow became an over-tolerance that was impacting my energy, the energy of everything inside the organization, and our results. And when I had that awareness, here's one of the things I need to share with you. Awareness, which to me is the same thing as a breakthrough. When you have a new awareness, you've had a breakthrough. You had that aha moment. That's only step one. And if you don't understand how to witness, process, heal, integrate that awareness, that breakthrough into the version of you that broke through, you will never actually evolve at the level of your identity. I know you're getting this right now. It will stay surface. It'll stay topical. You'll have that breakthrough high, but you don't need that. What you need is the awareness and the guidance and the knowledge to embody the version of you that broke through once you're gifted that moment of awareness, right? So using what I just shared as an example, that illumination of, whoa, Trace, isn't it interesting that all of this more loveness about you has turned into tolerance? And it was partly that, partly like that consciousness and that knowing that none of this is real. And the other part of the tolerance was coming from, I was fucking exhausted. I have been building, even if it's not like physically, right? But thinking and iterating and ideating and brainstorming since 2017. And I rest and I go to spa days and I take breaks. So be with me with what I'm saying. I was exhausted from tolerating. That's the interesting part, is that you think that by giving the grace or, being overly patient, but really what it does is it starts to drain your energy. It starts to create a level of depletion and exhaustion, because ultimately what needs to be taking place is not taking place. And the over tolerance drives the exhaustion, because of all of the mental gymnastics and the various things that are going on, and quite frankly, what's happening at the level of your nervous system. So with that awareness and that breakthrough of, oh my God, your grace turned to tolerance, what the fuck? I went into my body. I processed what needed to be processed. And then I let her lead. What does that mean? So the version of me that doesn't allow her lovingness, her grace, her awareness that none of this is real, her high level of consciousness, all of those things, the version of me that doesn't allow that to move into toleration, the version of me that is the CEO and founder of a $10 million personal growth online education company, she would let go of those people immediately. And that's exactly what I did. I gave notice immediately. Did I have a backup plan? Nope. Did I have any idea what I was going to do? No idea. Did it matter? Absolutely not. What's imperative, and what was imperative for me, was that I let her lead, right? That version of me now that I'm becoming. And I let her embody the awareness. I let her embody the breakthrough. And I'm going to keep saying this again and again, because I know once you get this, you'll never unget it. And it's going to change your fucking life. It is going to change the game as you really, really realize more and more, oh my God, it is me. Oh my God, I am the common denominator. Oh my God, whatever I am experiencing in my relationships, in my company, in my results or lack thereof, in my frustration, in my exhaustion, in my tolerance is me. So I allowed her to lead and embodied that and executed in that way. And it felt phenomenal. It felt phenomenal. And now I'm not like telling you, oh, and then this happened and we hired new people. It's not even about that. This is about that illumination. And the thing I want to say next before I go into this monumental new thing that happened yesterday is part of your ability to get everything you want, become the version of yourself that your legacy requires, evolve, heal, grow, expand, ascend, is your willingness to be so deeply honest with yourself. I teach it as the honesty behind the honesty, because whatever your first go-to answer is, try again. Typically, it's around answer 3 or 4, to be able to acknowledge, right? Because identifying the honesty with yourself, being truly honest, the honesty behind the honesty, is the act of self-love. It is integrity, and it will make you nauseous. When you pull the ego down and allow yourself to go, oh my God, Trace, you're fucking tolerating what? And for some of you, it's important to recognize the emotional addictions perhaps that you haven't been aware of or worked through yet around shame and around insecurity and around inadequacy. Because if you are not operating from your wholeness, if you are in any way, shape, or form still experiencing a tether of your unworthy identity, your ego will be so prominent in an effort to protect you that it will try to interfere with you being honest with yourself. Because if you're honest and you're identifying the honesty behind the honesty, it's going to drive you to self-internalization and then make you feel like shit, which I want to underscore because you can't see the inside of me. Never once. This makes me so fucking proud, because 8 versions of me ago, it was not this way. Not once, not one time, not one visceral reaction, not one tether. When these moments illuminated, this first awareness and the one I'm about to share, did I ever feel bad, feel shame, feel self-judgment, feel guilt, feel shrinkage? None of it. The joy that I feel for the data that I am gaining, because remember, as highly conscious women who are choosing to evolve, it's all the workshop of your soul. It's all data. It has no meaning infusion necessary. And that's the way to live. That's the way to lead. That's the way to be. So I share that because my body asked to share it. So honesty behind the honesty is a requirement for you to continue to grow and evolve and become. And in the direct reflection of that becoming is the actualization of the vision. Because you cannot be in your current identity and be practicing and embodying that version of you while reaching for and aspiring to this bigger vision, this next level experience, right? I want you to watch my hands right now for those of you watching the video form of this. This doesn't match. There's no congruence here. Your current identity and what you are desiring and deserve in every way, shape, or form. Wealth, relationships, impact, revenue, trusting team, having more orgasms, being present with your children, whatever it is. This is a mismatch. What needs to happen is congruence. What needs to happen is alignment. So that's part of what identity evolution is, because your identity is the cornerstone of your reality and you're the common denominator, and your identity is driving your experience, which is why I was experiencing what I was experiencing, which was exhaustion and frustration and the same kind of results, circling the drain over and over again. And then I'm like, oh my God, Trace, look at this. Look at what you're tolerating. Are you with me still? I trust that you are. So honesty behind the honesty, write that down. It's going to make you nauseous. You're going to have moments where you're like, I might actually vomit. Great. We love that. That means you're being real with yourself. And I will tell you this as a bonus item. If you are not real with yourself, you are real with no one. And your greatest success lives in your ability to be authentic. And what authenticity means is the fullest expression of what you are and who you are. Now let's move to yesterday's awareness, to yesterday's breakthrough. Here is essentially the awareness. My adaptive behavior of hyperindependence has shared a remnants with me that is ready to leave. So let me slow down and break something down for you. What I just shared was my adaptation, my adaptive behavior of hyperindependence showed up yesterday. This is the breakthrough. Holy shit, the hyperindependence is showing up, and it's showing up when I'm feeling unsafe, and it's showing up when fear is omnipresent in a whole new way. So what's an adaptive behavior? An adaptive behavior is something that you unconsciously created when you were younger as a mechanism to keep you safe and to keep you loved. Okay. So for me, in order to feel safe, unconsciously, I created the adaptation of control. Hi. I know you have that in you too, because every single woman that I've ever had the pleasure of loving and serving operates somewhere on the spectrum of high levels of control, and hyperindependence, right? Hyperindependence. I've got this. You're not going to tell me what. I'm on it. And I can be in charge of myself, and I can spin all the plates, and I don't need your help, and I know best, right? Not independence, which is really fucking healthy. Hyper independence. Okay. So I hired a CMO. Okay. So this is how this moment came to be, because it's really fucking important. Because I'm becoming the CEO and founder of a $10 million company, right? Which is completely different. It's completely different than who I had to become years ago when I was at a $200,000 company with one team member, to who I had to become at a $500,000 company with 2 team members, to who I had to become at a $1 million company with 3 team members, to who I had to become at a multiple $1 million company with 3 or 4 team members. This is a whole different game. And if I am going to experience what I say I want, I'm going to continue to embody who I need to become. And in hiring this beautiful CMO, who is a rock star and is going to do everything I know we need to do to get to where we want to go, there's a lot of fear present, because it is the biggest role I've ever hired in. It is the biggest investment that I have ever made inside of our team structure. And my stunningly beautiful ops manager was willing to help illuminate for me through a conversation we had yesterday. Because here's what happened, and I'm opening myself right now in a depth and breath that is like real time in service of you. So I'm going to be very intentional, and I'm going to move slowly and connect dots for you so that you can see things for yourself the way that I'm seeing them for myself. And I'm going to use myself as the example. So my ops manager is an ops manager. She's amazing. So she's in charge of people, processes, systems. Her core responsibility is impact to the company, right? She's in charge of all of those beautiful things. You heard me say hiring, I think, if I said it. And I was getting on a call to talk to who was the candidate for the CMO role. And I unconsciously, here's the important part. I unconsciously didn't have my ops manager on that call. Now, typically, she would be on a call like this. We're considering hiring somebody. And she was aware we were hiring for the role. We both agreed prior to me getting on this call that this candidate was a fucking brilliant rock star. So all of that alignment was there. And she had even vocalized, hey, I'd like to be on that call. And I overlooked that. And here's just what's so important. My hyperindependence overlooked that. Because this moment that we're in, where so much expansion is taking place, and you can feel when that thing you've been working towards is like right on the other side. And I'm finally at that point where we have the true genius who's in all the seats, so to speak, right? Your ability to grow is about who, not how. Phenomenal book. Let's just give a shout out. Who, not how. If you don't know it, read it, buy it right now. And I finally have the genius who's in the seats. So the amount of perceived unsafety that my system is experiencing, the amount of fear that I'm experiencing, gives a gap, an opening for my adaptive behavior to come in. Be with me. Your adaptive behavior was formed when you were younger as a mechanism to keep you safe. Adaptation for survival. So anytime your nervous system perceives it's unsafe in an effort to bring you into safety in that zone of familiarity, it says to itself, well, I know how to help her enter an adaptive behavior. So my hyperindependence hasn't been around for a while because I number one, I'm who I am and I work with my body every day and I understand on how I feel and the contraction and all the things I teach you, I am. Like there is not one thing I'm going to guide you through that I have not tested, proved, and walked through on my own. So because of this big moment and how close it is and it's so palpable, the fear that's happening and the perceived unsafety, it's like, it like went like this, like opened it up and it was like, ooh, hey, I'm Tracy's adaptive behavior. I'm Tracy's hyperindependence. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make sure she's safe. And I went unconscious and the hyperindependence took the lead. And in doing that, it omitted having my ops manager in that meeting. The honesty behind the honesty was my hyperindependence didn't want anybody else present because it didn't want to be told what to do. It didn't want anybody else's opinion. It just wanted to be hyper-independent and do whatever the fuck it wanted to do. And as I sat there talking to her yesterday, she beautifully was just bringing about this conversation, which honor her for her vulnerability, that then gave me this moment to illuminate. And to which I said to her, I was like, this has nothing to do with you. This is about me. Which once again, I will relentlessly say to you, you are the problem and the solution. You are the cause of the effect. You are the common denominator of all of it. And when I sat there and I went, holy shit. And it was that like vomitous, I could puke in my mouth right now. I unconsciously didn't have her at the meeting because I didn't want to be told what to do. I didn't want to be questioned. I didn't want her to ask questions that I didn't care about or I didn't want to address. I wanted to hire this person and that was that. And here's the other thing. I'm the CEO. I get to do whatever I want. I'm the founder. It's my company. The last and final decision is mine. So this is not even like that was real. This is the other part I need to share with you. Oh my God, that was the fucking story. That was the narrative because I get to do whatever I want. That's one of the reasons that you decide to run a company because at the end of the day, you're the visionary. It's your choice. So even that story, that narrative, that there's a world where that could even happen, that wasn't real. That was story. That was story that was affirming the need for the adaptation to take the lead. Get this, because this is like when you come into the school and you become a mind magician, the layers of the methodology of neuroidentity evolution, which is what we take you through, right? It breaks down all of this with you as you learn how to get clear on who you're becoming and then understand your adaptations, understand your fear flavors, understand your nervous system imprint, understand how to love it, how to work with it, understand the stories and narratives that affirm that old identity, that affirm the adaptation, that affirm all of those things. That's why it's such a complete body of work, what we do. It's not, you can't do things in isolation. You know, a little somatics over here, a little bit of mindset over here, a little bit of energy over here. You can't. You have to have the complete methodology in order to navigate the foundational truth that you're always evolving in that moment, right? And what I really want to gift you is, okay, so we're moving in to a new stratosphere. We're on that growth edge, right? I'm holding circles because when you do come into the school and I teach you this, on my whiteboard, I draw this out so you can see. outside of the circle of what is familiar to you, your zone of familiarity, is the great unknown. The unknown is where all the possibility lives, and it's also what triggers your fear response. When you do things you've never done before, i.e., invest at the level I just did, realize that in doing so, I need to become different because I am now elevating and putting the proper who's in place so that the dream and what I know is right there can actualize. And then that's fucking scary because it's like, oh shit, everything that you have been working for and that you want is almost here. And consciously you're like, yeah, but like that's what you want. But that's not how your subconscious, your body, and your nervous system functions. Because if you haven't experienced it before, it has no evidence of it. So it perceives it as a threat. And then because of that perceived threat, it is sensed as unsafe. And then your system goes to work in love of you to ensure you survive. Enter adaptation, which is when the hyperindependence came in. Mind blown. Holy shit. Thank you. Thank you for every second of what led me to this. Thank you, hyperindependence, for bumping me on the head and making me go unconscious and not having our ops manager in that meeting to then bring forth this conversation, to give me the space to be deeply honest with myself, to be in this awareness, because this is my tipping point to where I'm going. It's just everything. It's why we're here. I think in a lot of ways, we become immune to platitudes, even though a platitude becomes a platitude because it's true, or things we think we know. And this moment yesterday has changed me because I know how to integrate and embody this awareness, this breakthrough that I had already today. I had 2 instances where I was instantly aware when my body went into that. There's this like certain feeling that my body gives when I can sense the hyperindependence with me. And I was able to work it right through and work it right out. The other beauty part of this is to become who you're capable of becoming. You get to go and witness and love the past versions of you that need you, that were present when the adaptation was created. And as soon as I touched base yesterday with that nauseating honesty of like, oh my God, my hyper-independence didn't want anybody else there because didn't want to be told what to do and didn't want to be controlled and whatever else, I instantly remembered that feeling from my childhood. And I was instantly able to close my eyes and go to her, little me, and give her some freedom and give her some honesty and give her some love and let her know how loved and valuable and safe she always was, so that she could come and integrate into me. It's another little gift I want to give you right now. Whatever presents now, and you have that moment of awareness, you have that moment of trigger, you can always just take a beat and recognize how your body starts to travel back into the past, into the moment of origin or one of the earlier moments around that circumstance that turned into a trauma, around that belief structure, around that adaptive behavior, whatever that is. And it's stunning because this is what it means to know how to grow. This is what it means to understand how you became who you are, that the program and the conditioning that you're operating under, you didn't even fucking choose. It was dripped into you, influenced into you, bequeathed into you, that it is your divine moral responsibility to step on this path of becoming, and not in like a, I'll do some affirmations or I'm going to manifest shit kind of way, but in a genuine, earnest, I am going to heal. I am going to grow. I am going to learn how to run this stunning biology that I've been given. I am going to understand the biology of fear. I am going to understand how to treat myself like the energy that I am. I'm going to understand how and when the old identity thinks it has a moment to come back in and rear its head and pull you back from who you're becoming, how to use your language, all of it, because entrepreneurship, marriage, motherhood is all a vehicle for the curriculum of your soul, period. And when you get that, you get this, like what I just was able to articulate back to you. Like I said before, with no low level shit, no shame, none of that. Oh my God, none of it. Just pure like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Whoa, feel it, feel it, feel it, right? Allow the body to process it and be in such awe of the new awareness that you then get to embody in the version of you that now has the awareness, right? You get to take the breakthrough and move from the I had a breakthrough to the version of you that broke through. That's a different person when you really understand that the awareness and the illumination and the breakthrough is just step one. And when you are honest with yourself because you love yourself and you understand and you've had guidance from me, from the School of Becoming, from what we teach, because everything in this conversation is all up in everything that we deliver to the world, you start to play a completely different game. And everything feels satiating, purposeful, nourishing, because you really do understand that your soul has an objective. You're not just talking shit about it. You really understand your soul has an objective. And the way that a soul meets its objective is by utilizing the human experience to create moments, opportunities, presentations, triggers, activations as a mechanism for you to work the curriculum of your life. It's pretty fucking cool, isn't it? Let's take a few breaths before I close this out. I'm going to invite you to close down your eyes if it feels good. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose, fill up your belly and hold it. Give me an audible sigh. Again, taking a deep breath in through your nose, filling up your belly. Hold it. And give me an audible sigh. One more time because it feels so good. Taking a deep breath in through the nose. Hold it. And audible sigh. You want to shake your shoulders, move your arms around, flick your wrists, whatever your body's asking for you to do. I would love to know what resonated, what came up, what questions you have from this episode. Because if you're with me, and I know you are, then a conversation needs to be had. So DM me on Instagram @the Tracy Litt and let's chat. And until next time, remember, there's always, always, always more love.